The Florida legislature is now in session, and there are several bills pending that will affect professional guardians. So I would like to take this opportunity to present my concerns to you and ask you to review these materials. If you agree, please take the next step and contact legislators to express your opinions. The Florida legislature, Senate and House of Representatives, meets this year beginning on March 3rd and end on May 1st. There are only a few short weeks left in this session. Proposed legislation must be approved by the House and by the Senate before it can be sent to the governor for his final review and adoption. This year there are quite a few bills addressing guardianship issues. One bill, committee substitute for the committee substitute for the committee substitute for House Bill 5, has already passed, but there are two bills pending in the Senate and the House of Representatives. The first one is Senate Bill 1226, and the second is the committee substitute for House Bill 1225. If these are passed, they will affect how professional guardians are appointed to new cases. There are many positive and needed amendments in each of these bills. However, I have concern about one proposed amendment that would affect how professional guardians are appointed to new cases. A new section added, 744.2005, would require the creation of a guardian registry and the appointment of guardians on a rotation basis. This amendment seems to have come about because in some circuits, judges appoint certain favored guardians again and again to cases, excluding other guardians from being appointed. This appears then as an exclusive club that only a privileged few can participate in. This preference for using only experienced guardians results in a situation where new qualified guardians lack the opportunity to gain experience, and therefore, because they don't have any experience, they don't get appointed. The proposed change requires the chief judge in a circuit to create a list or registry of qualified professional guardians. The amendment also requires that all new guardianship cases be assigned to guardians whose name come to the top of the list on a rotating basis. This process has been referred to as the wheel. Recently, I heard this rotation process called the wheel of injustice, and in my opinion, it will be an injustice for the petitioner, the alleged incapacitated person, the attorney of record, and the proposed guardian. The two above-mentioned bills, Senate Bill 1226 and the committee substitute for House Bill 1225, both include an amendment requiring the appointment of professional guardians from the rotation wheel. Initially, this method sounds like a fair way to appoint guardians by avoiding favoritism. However, there are some major problems that will surely ensue if this is adopted. Arbitrarily choosing a guardian from the wheel ignores the preference that a petitioner or the alleged incapacitated person may have for a particular guardian. Quite often, family members out of state seek a guardian for a loved one here, and they may interview several guardians before deciding on the one they believe will be an appropriate and compatible guardian. The rotation appointment removes this level of trust that the petitioner or the alleged incapacitated person may have if a stranger is appointed from the rotation list instead of the one they had selected. The rotation assumes that all guardians are equal. All possess the same skills, experience, expertise, and capability of managing difficult cases. It does not take into consideration the complexity and difficulty of a particular case that would require a more experienced guardian to manage. According to the rotation, a new guardian may be appointed to a difficult case that could end up costing the guardianship additional expense and work if the guardian has to be replaced. Rotation appointment also negates the preference of an attorney to work with a particular guardian or a guardian to work with a particular attorney. The rotation throws attorneys and guardians together with no regard for compatibility, trust, or previous work history. Guardians will frequently take on a pro bono case as a favor to attorneys who had previously referred paying cases to them, and vice versa. The rotation wheel will certainly cause a change in those relationships and those referrals. Another consequence is the possibility that a guardian may be appointed to many indigent wards because that is the type of case that came up when it was his or her turn to be appointed. And certainly many pro bono cases will be a disincentive to many guardians to continue in guardianship. The rotation is very appealing to guardians who are not getting appointed to cases. And in fact, it may resolve this problem in small counties where there are only a few professional guardians. But in large circuits that may have 75 to 100 or more professional guardians, this may result in the loss of many good guardians who will only get appointed infrequently due to the length of time for their name to come up to the top of the list. The sponsors of the committee substitute for House Bill 1225 are Larry Ahern from District 66 in Seminole and Kathleen Peters from District 69 in St. Petersburg. To view the full bill with the amendments, copy and paste the link to your web browser. The reference to the rotation appointment is on page 12, line 289. The sponsor of Senate Bill 1226, which is a companion bill to the committee substitute for House Bill 1225, is Nancy Dietert from District 28 in Venice. To view the entire version of Senate Bill 1226, copy and paste the link into your web browser. The reference to the rotation appointment is on page 14, line 383. What can you do now? First, make sure you are registered to vote. Legislators are not going to be very much influenced by the opinions of people who don't vote. You can contact the two bill sponsors about your concerns. You can contact your representative and senator, and you can also contact other representatives or senators. Request the elimination of the rotation appointment amendment. Remember, if you do nothing, your silence will be assumed as approval, and legislation will be passed that will affect you. You need to act now, as senators and representatives will be voting soon on this proposed legislation. Here is the link to the directory for the Florida House of Representatives. You can find their contact information. And here is the directory for the Florida Senate. Thank you very much for watching and taking action. This video has been produced by Irene Rausch, Master Guardian. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me, and please forward this to other interested persons.